Congratulations. All right, let's get back to business here. I got a lot of people who wrote in. Come on, go to the cupcake cam. Take 4. Cupcake cam. Where's the cupcake? You can't even see the cupcake. That thing eats them fast. Okay, last night, people watched the show, and I got some mail. And I want to talk to you about it, because people would call, hey, Glenn Beck, why are you turning to God? You're giving up. What? What are you talking about? Turning to God is a bad thing? That thought process flies in the face of everything this country has always been about. Are we not? Let's see if I have any money on me. Yes, there it is. One nation under God. Right there. And that was it. In God we trust, right there on the back of our money. We were founded on the notion of God. To me, the mail that I got last night, people saying, you're turning to God. We should be turning to God as our first resort, not our last resort. I mean, I can't tell you how many people were complaining to me, Glenn, it's not time for that. It's not time. It's not time, really? Our founders certainly turned to them long before now. They turned at the very beginning. Prayer is not a sign of throwing in the towel and saying, okay, well, I'll let you do it this time. You know, you don't lay there in bed and say, okay, you let me know. I'm going to take a nap when things are straightened out. That's not what that is. You pray as if everything depends on God, but you act as if everything depends on you. This is more evidence that our faith has been perverted and corrupted. Let me tell you something. There is nothing Americans cannot do. We are the people that changed the world. We brought hope and liberty to a planet that has never seen those things, never had experienced liberty before. That was us. That was us. Don't you know who we are? We're the ones who always arrive on the scene of tragedies everywhere else in the world first. We're the ones. Oh, they hate us until they have a problem, and then we're the ones. They're like, oh, America, we love you so much. You know, back in the 1970s, President Ronald Reagan reminded us, I love that guy, when we were at one of our lowest points as a nation, right after the mess in Vietnam, just a few examples of what America and Americans had accomplished. I read this speech, I think it was from 1975. I read this speech the other night. Wow. I think we need a reminder again on who we really are. Next. All right, we're just talking about Ronald Reagan here for a second because I want you to know we face huge problems, massive problems, problems we've never faced as a nation before. But who are we? That's what we have to decide. I told you Reagan spoke of all the things that we have accomplished, and I'm not as eloquent as Ronald Reagan. I'm going to steal some of his lines, paraphrase some of his lines, but this is what he said in the 1970s. He said, let me remind you, we have increased our life expectancy by eradicating diseases that still wipe people out in other parts of the world. We have more doctors per 1,000 people than any other nation in the world. We have more hospitals than any other nation in the world. Americans work less hours for a higher standard of living than anywhere else in the world. The majority of Americans have televisions. An equal number have telephones and cell phones. There are millions of cars on our streets and our highways. And you want to know how I know that? When you turn off this show and go home, look at the traffic. Now, there are people that are cynical about America, who hate America, and look, we've made problems. All the decadence in America. Really? That's what you find to talk about America. That's what you want to brag about, our decadence. Paraphrasing Reagan again, we also have more churches, more libraries. We support voluntarily more nonprofit theaters, publish more books than all of the other nations in the world combined. Somehow America has bred a kindness into our people unmatched anywhere. We give more than any other country on earth. We have always had a can-do attitude, not a, oh, where's the government to do it for me attitude. What the heck is wrong with us? What have we turned into? Stop listening to the clowns in Washington and listen to yourself. Listen to your neighbors. You know what's right. Now get out and do it. Man. We're never gonna make it if we just continue to whine and take it and just let some bureaucrat in Washington tell us what we're exactly supposed to do. You know who can dig us out of this hole? Us. You know who can't? Washington. Believe in the individual and the power inside of you. You have untapped, unrealized potential. Every single person on earth does. But Americans have a way into it. Well, it used to be just us, but let me tell you a story of a 10-year-old Chinese boy. He was playing hide and seek when he came in contact with a high voltage power line. He lost both of his arms. Did he cry, poor me? Maybe, probably, but not for long. Oh, poor me. Whenever you think that you're down and out, you can't do it. Whenever you think the United States of America is down and out, go ask yourself, who are we losing to? China? If it is, it's not because they have a better system in place. We just have a more corrupt system in place right now. But our system, minus the corruption, far superior. But besides corruption, what's happened to us? If they beat us, it will be because we have lost something that somehow or another the Chinese have gained. And you know what they've gained? Never, ever give up. Find your way around it. There's a TV show over in China, and it is kind of our, America's Got Talent thing. It's, I don't know, China has talent. It's clever. I want you to watch the kid who has no arms and the talent that he has. Here it is. Now, I don't know about you, I'm not excited about the toe jam on the piano keys, but that's not the point. The point is, this kid found it inside. Nobody's feeding him. He picks up a fork with his foot and he eats. He's typing email. He's using the mouth. It's the triumph of the human spirit. That's what we had in spades. It's what helped Americans conquer the strongest army in the world. We were a bunch of farmers. It helped us conquer the Great Plains, the mountain peaks, the seas. We went to the moon. Why? Why? Not because we're Americans, but because we're Americans, and that used to mean something. Find it inside of yourself. We don't need to explore outer space. We need to explore inner space. Find it again inside of yourself, and we're going to be fine. We need it now more than ever. Okay, those crazy conspiracy theorists are back with the death panels. Yes, back in the news again. Don't you hate those conspiracy hate mongers? Here's what I told you death panels really were a year ago. I want to make it very, very clear. What these people are talking about is how to ration in the case of an emergency. They define that as a shortage of kidneys, hospital beds, or flu vaccine. A shortage. But what we have to remember is universal health care creates another shortage, a shortage of money. And when we are out of money, these people will begin making the rules governing your health care. No, not going to happen, because here's what they said about me saying that.
There is no death panel. There is no judgment based on societal productivity. There is no worthiness test.
We plan to set up panels of bureaucrats with the power to kill off senior citizens. It is a lie, plain and simple.
The real agenda lurking behind healthcare reform is a secret plot to kill old people.
No panel is going to sit down and tell your doctor anything about how to care for you, where we're all going to get to at that end of life period. It's malarkey.
No panel. It's no panel. It's a lie. Ridiculous conspiracy. Except your first death panel is here. Federal regulators are considering taking the highly unusual step of rescinding approval of a drug that patients with advanced breast cancer turn to as a last-ditch hope. What did the president and vice president have to say now? Malarkey, there's no panel. And the propagandists over at MSNBC, oh, they're having a good chortle over this one, I'm sure. See, it's not that they'd ever be called death panels or anything like that. Okay, the point has always been with this new system, it's based on money. It's possibly happening now, exactly the way we said it would happen. Malarkey. Tomorrow, we're going to do another crazy show. Manifest Destiny, the perversion of divine providence. Why? Because it will help you understand the civil rights movement. We're going to turn things upside down. You do not want to miss the next 3 shows starting tomorrow. Really, don't do it. By the way, if you want any 828 gear so you can get it in time for the big event a week from Saturday in Washington, D.C. at the Lincoln Memorial, go to glennbeck.com/828. From New York, good night, America.